Hello again from my front porch. It is the day after Thanksgiving and we all survived. Yay! I wasn't sure, it was touch and go for a bit there, whether I was going to explode or not. Thank you, Jack and Tara, for inviting me over yesterday and for sharing that wonderful, bountiful buffet of food that you had. Excuse me. But I did sleep in a bit this morning to additionally try to sleep off the food coma that I was in pretty much for the rest of the evening. But it was a fun time. A lot of great food, great friends, enjoyed a lot. So that was good. Now, when I got home though, I still wasn't quite ready just to hit the sack. And so I took care of a couple of things on the computer. I posted the last episode of Front Porch, got that taken care of. But I also turned on the TV and watched a movie that I'd been seeing advertised quite a bit. And I had mistakenly thought it was actually going to be a theatrical release movie, and I was interested in going to go see it. But then I found out it's not a theatrical release movie, it's on Netflix. And I was like, oh, it's on Netflix? Well, then I can watch it anytime. So when I got home last night, I watched it, and that movie is The Christmas Chronicles. Now, I'm not a big Christmas movie buff. There are a couple of them that I always love to watch. Year Without a Santa Claus, mostly because I love Heat Miser and Snow Miser. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original animated one, that narrated by Boris Karloff. I enjoy that one. And then also, as far as films themselves go, my preference, there's good ones. Elf, the Santa Claus trilogy of Tim Allen, those are all really, really fun movies. But the one I really want to make sure that I always watch is It's a Wonderful Life. Every year I've watched it. I love it. In fact, it's going to be playing at a theater here in Des Moines here in December. And, that's very possible that I'm going to go see it because I enjoy sitting in a room full of other people who equally appreciate it the way I do. But anyway, I watched The Christmas Chronicles, and The Christmas Chronicles is a movie that features Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. And that in and of itself should make you want to watch it. That's what inspired me to want to watch it. Because Kurt Russell, I don't know, he gets cooler as he continues to get older. It's the most remarkable thing. He's always been talented, and I enjoy some of it. Way back when he was young and he played Elvis, but when you saw him in Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York, those are good action movies. Of course, I enjoyed him in Stargate, where he originated the role of Jack O'Neill in film that Richard Dean Anderson then reinterpreted for the TV series that followed, that spun off from that movie. But he's done a lot of fantastic things. But I thought that one of his finest roles, one of the things I most enjoyed him in, was his role in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where he was the main villain. But his characterization was just, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really impressive. Well, imagine that characterization from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but not quite so evil, not quite so amoral, but really, really true and genuine. Imagine that kind of persona as Santa Claus, and that's what you get in the Christmas Chronicles. And I tell you, I'm not, as I said, I'm not big on Christmas movies in general. There's just a small number of them but as far as I'm concerned, this one has now been added to my list of Christmas classics, because I could watch that one, and I'm sure I will watch that one again and again and again. It was very entertaining. Now, the central plot line is nothing new, and in fact, the basic story at the core, we've seen it before in the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies. We've seen it in Elf. We've seen it in there was another movie several years ago with Dudley Moore and David Hiddleston, not to be confused with Tom Hiddleston, who does Loki, but different guy from way back in the Dudley Moore era, where the two of them did a Santa Claus movie as well. In fact, it's called the Santa Claus the movie. But all these movies tend to have a similar sort of theme.
We need to rally the reindeer.
Comet? Me, Comet?
And find the elves.
I think I'm in the North Pole. Sleigh's busted. Can you guys fix it?
Maybe we can still save Christmas.
Something goes awry and Christmas is in jeopardy. And so then you have Santa and whoever the other individuals are that have been brought into the story all working together to save Christmas. And that's the gist of what happens in this story too. So it's not the story itself that is original and creative and fun. It's how the story is told. It's how it unfolds and how the different people interact with each other. And the casting is just fantastic. You have these two kids. You have Kate and Teddy Pierce, who are the main characters. And Kate looks so familiar. The actress playing Kate looks so familiar. I was sure that she was the same actress that played a very young River Song on Doctor Who. But I realized that wouldn't make any sense because that actress would be much older than this girl is now. Maybe they were sisters or something. I looked up and nope, they don't seem to be any relation whatsoever. But man, she just reminded me so much of her. But still, great little story about a couple of kids who have unfortunately lost their father that they loved very much, and their single mom is trying to make the best of it. A lot of emotion, a lot of times that she's out because she has to work so much because it's just her now. And the impact that's had on those kids, and on Teddy, it's having a negative impact. On Kate, she's now 11 years old and still writing letters to Santa, which Teddy teases her about. But the course of the story, they try to capture Santa on film, on video camera that belonged to their dad.
Nobody's ever seen Santa Claus.
Tell me you're getting this.
Give me the camera. It's Santa Claus.
And adventure ensues. I don't want to ruin the story for you, but adventure ensues as the dynamic duo of Kate and Teddy find their path crossed with Santa Claus, and then through a series of unfortunate events, we'll say. Not to steal that title, but through a series of unfortunate events, Santa suddenly finds himself pretty much without any of his resources. And he has to get back his reindeer. He has to get his sleigh fixed. He has to get the presents. He doesn't even have his hat. And so he's got to reclaim all of this stuff in order to be able to do Christmas. And of course, by the time he does that, well, Christmas is in jeopardy, and that's when the tension really begins.
If you ever meet Mrs. Claus, maybe just skip this part.
There's a lot of fun in there, but Kurt Russell, oh Lord, Kurt Russell, he does such a fun Santa, such a awesome, I mean, if Santa Claus is, there have been a lot of portrayals of Santa, let's just say that, but the Santa that I want to believe Santa is like, is this Kurt Russell Santa. It's kind of like, I want to believe that the President of the United States is like Harrison Ford in Air Force One. And so, that's like, oh, there's the template right there. That's the template. It's like Kurt Russell's portrayal of Santa. That's my new template. I just think he was a fantastic Santa Claus. And for so many reasons that I don't want to spoil for you because I want you to watch it. And I've seen a lot of people commenting on Facebook saying they watched it as well last night and thought it was fantastic. And they actually say it's too bad it's not on regular television so that everybody could see it other than just people who have Netflix. But I'm sure Netflix is fully aware of that. I do hope that it will come out on DVD because I would very much like to buy the DVD of it and add it to my shelf so that I can watch it anytime, anywhere, and be able to have it available as that. But for right now, it's available. If you have Netflix, it's right there, buddy. The Christmas Chronicles starring Kurt Russell. And I tell you, there's one scene that was in the preview that is not in the movie, and I understand why, because it's a fourth wall breaking scene, and since this is not Deadpool, they didn't include that in the actual movie. But I almost wish they had, because it just so captured the personality of the Santa portrayed by Kurt Russell.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good.
Stop. Kids aren't stupid. They know how it works.
Sorry, Santa.
I saw that and I thought, yes, there is a real Santa. And then throughout the movie, they do make various connections to, you know, for this Santa, what is actual truth versus what is myth of what Santa is and is not, how and what he does, and that's very interesting to see.
Can you go ho ho ho?
I don't go ho ho ho. That's a myth.
You don't look like Santa Claus.
Well, billboards add 80 pounds.
Why must they keep drawing me like that? Does my butt really look that big to you?
But still, the bottom line, again, it's not highbrow entertainment. I'm sure if I stopped and looked at it with a critical eye, I could find plot holes and I could find it. But you know, it's not. It's just a fun movie. It's a movie intended to be enjoyed, and it really does. And I'll tell you, Kurt Russell has not lost his singing ability either, because I told you he played Elvis, you know, way back early on in his career, and he's played in I think a few other roles where there was some music involved, but that Elvis one way back was a big one. Well, he gets to bust out some of those chops. He's got the move.
Let's get this party started.
I have seen a lot of strange things, but this,
Wait till you see what happens next.
I may have to go back and just watch that part of it just to study some of those moves and try to use those on the dance floor myself. Bottom line, though, is The Christmas Chronicles, fantastic movie. I highly recommend it. If you have Netflix or if you know somebody who has Netflix, get out there and watch it. You will enjoy it. It is fun for the whole family. It is really amazing. I adore, and I don't use that word often, but I adore this portrayal of Santa. To me, this is like, when I saw Robert Downey Jr., all I could think of was RDJ, and I thought some of you won't know who that is. When I saw Robert Downey Jr. play Sherlock Holmes, who I love Sherlock Holmes. I've got all of his stories. I've read them many, many times, and I love Sherlock Holmes. All the original stories by Arthur Conan Doyle, I should say. And I love it. And so I went to see Robert Downey Jr. play the character with a little trepidation, but was just so wonderfully pleased with how he interpreted it. I thought it was great. And then I saw the BBC series Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch interpreting the Sherlock role as a modern sort of character, and I love that. And I realized that actually the two of them are portraying Sherlock differently. They portray the character differently, but I really do adore both of them. They're fantastic. They capture qualities of the character that so often get dismissed when he's played so stiff and straight and proper and all this kind of. And those two portrayals are in my opinion actually much more authentic to what Conan Doyle originally intended that character to be. So, there are some that just, I just it's like Harrison Ford as the president. You've got Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes, and now Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. Oh yes. All right. So I like I said, I have to get going. I'm heading over to Carroll today to do Thanksgiving with the family over there. So I'm gonna hit the road. We're starting to get a little bit of rain. That's better than snow. We're supposed to get snow maybe this weekend, which could mess up. I have big plans on Monday, and that could really mess up my big plans on Monday, but we'll find out. Anyway, I'm going to get going, hit the road, head on over there, and do my best to monitor my food intake there too. And I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.